So, redlining. Got more Race Hustler Rhetoric coming right up. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Common Sense, Logic, and Reason. And as always, I want to say thank y'all for joining me today. So I got more Race Hustler Rhetoric for y'all. Now, redlining, I've always said that redlining is the number one example of Race Hustler Rhetoric that you'll run into. You have all of these black people who just shout it out and can't even defend it, don't even know what redlining is, but they've heard it so much that it's just a knee-jerk reaction to them. That's why periodically I like to do another episode of basically redlining, because like I said, it just gets thrown around so much. So there's a lot of people who haven't seen any of the videos that I put up, a Race Hustler Rhetoric video that I put up of redlining. So I like to do several periodically so that people will see them, and if you see it, you'll be able to destroy that narrative. Anyway, redlining is an example of historical crime. You know, black folks crying about stuff from the past that's irrelevant to today. That's very common with black people. Keep dredging up the past, using the past to fuel their race anger of today. And the fact that they have to constantly keep running back to the past just speaks volumes. But everybody's familiar with credit rating. We all have our credit rating. Everybody has their own personal credit rating. And your credit rating is determined based upon your behavior, what you do with your credit. You know, if you do the things that's going to cause you to have good credit, you'll have good credit. Do the things that's going to cause you to have bad credit, well, you'll have bad credit. Now, the formula that determines this is almost like a guarded industry secret. However, if you wanted to find out, you can. There are places that you can go to, such as credit repair places, where they tell you how to make your credit better, in which they have the information on how to make your credit better. But suffice it to say, your credit rating is determined based upon your behavior, not no one else's behavior. Now, as we know that your credit rating is basically determined, is basically defined by two different markers. First off, you have the number scale, which I believe goes up to from 0 to up to 800. The higher, the better your credit. And this is a lot more accurate measurement. And then we also have the color scale. Now, in the color scale, essentially you have green, which is the best credit rated. Then you have light green, and then it moves to yellow, then orange, then red. Red is considered the worst color, and that is given to people with the worst credit. Now, the red, that's where the red in redlining comes from. Now, it used to be a point in time when, well, just like your individual credit rating, let's say, communities are also giving credit rating based upon if an area is a good investment or a bad place to invest in. And of course, you have lenders who lend out money and they expect to make a profit when the people pay their money back. So if you're going to lend out, you have to show some discretion on who you lend to, and making sure that you lend somebody money to a person who's capable of paying it back, and for a reason that's going to allow them to pay it back. Invest in the area where it's more likely for them to pay you back. And as a result of this, they give credit ratings to areas, you know. And if an area is a good place to lend to, it'll be labeled as green. And if it's a bad place to lend to, it's going to be labeled as red. Now, there used to be a point in time in the past that the white supremacists who didn't want to see blacks progress in America would give certain black communities a fraudulently false label of red, making it so that they have an excuse to not want to lend to these blacks, or making it difficult by having these blacks having to resort to getting to higher interest rates in order to get a loan to invest in their own community. Now, we all agree that this happened in the past. Nobody's denying it. Nobody's justifying it. Now, I've never have done a deep investigation on redlining, how extensive it was. Was it everywhere, or was it certain areas? But we do know that black folk are good, leftists in general are good at taking something that may have been isolated here and there and acted like it was widespread everywhere into entirety, you know. So I don't know how extensive redlining was, but we know it was done. It was in the past. Nobody agrees with it. Nobody justified. We all agree that it was wrong. However, we fast forward to today. Redlining still exists, but in this case, it's legitimate. If there's an area in which that's basically designated as a poor place to invest in, is legitimate reason, because lenders want to make money and they're not going to deny lending out money so that they can make more money. So if an area is labeled as being a bad place to invest in, it's for legitimate reasons. And most often than not, it's because of the people who live in the community. And there's several criteria that they use to determine whether or not the area is good or bad place to lend in. The crime rates, the murder rates, the academic output, what's the average income in that area, what's the rate of single parent homes as opposed to 2-parent family homes, and so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? And then there are things that are out of people's control, like is it a place that's prone for flooding or something like that, an area. But the fact is that the majority of the criteria that determine if an area is bad to lend in it is a result of the people who live in that area. And thus, if the area is redlining today, you need to be looking at the people in that area and question what they're doing and what they're doing to cause the area to be a bad place to invest in. And this is what the race hustlers never do. All they ever want to do is cry about the past, and how all this theoretical wealth that black people didn't have because of some redlining back then, or which we don't know how extensive it was, but they never wanted to address the issue of today and what black folks are doing in the area that's making their communities redline today. Anyway, y'all, if you ever hear these race hustlers crying about redlining, well, now you know, and knowing this half the battle, watching this video, and you can definitely destroy. And as always, y'all, until next time.